Hello there, Senators, and welcome back to Star Wars Democracy. It feels good to be back. Feels good to be back making content. Feels good to be back live with all of you all. And looks like I actually got Journeyman here with me. Let me see if I can get him pulled up here. How's it going, Journeyman?
Good, pretty good. Glad to be back.
I know. It is fantastic. Looks like we already have Senator Tony here back as a member. Thank you, Senator, for joining us. Sound is great, too much light. Let's see if we can tone down the light a little bit. There we go. Got a little bit of a new setup. The old setup is in a closet, and the clothes have taken over. So
Of
now,
course, clothes are
now we're
taking
in
over.
now we're in a different area. We're actually in the playroom. So you just got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Nice. Yep.
Senator Tony says, "Hey, Journeyman." So we're
What's
glad
up?
to have Senator Tony back joining us. So I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I feel like
I
you
don't
and
know.
I.
We have a lot to discuss, I guess, or maybe I haven't really caught up with anything. So
I
I
know,
just
yeah. Well, maybe Tony here will have to catch us up a little bit because it's been an interesting. Maybe we should talk a little bit about why we kind of like why we both have taken breaks from Star Wars. Just
yeah.
and like it's kind of like for separate reasons. I feel like, and it kind of just happened. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first? Because I don't even know
Um,
if I've really thought about it all that much.
I haven't really thought about it, but I'll try and go. So I recently got a job. Um, so that's kind of been taking up my time, and then I've been getting into Bible study groups and such things, that other activities that take my kind of free time away. And so
Hmm.
that's kind of taken away everything. Those are the reasons. That's not really the main reason, though. I think it's just, once again, kind of being burnt out on Star Wars and Star Wars content overall. Just there hasn't been much, anyways, but the
Yeah,
content that we've got has just kind of been lackluster again. So
yeah. I mean, really, there hasn't been much since Ahsoka. Even Tony says, "What have you guys been doing since the last time?" And it's been about 3-4 months, I think, since
months, yeah. I went back and looked at the YouTube, our last YouTube video, and it was on Ahsoka, so it's been a while.
yeah, yeah. It's been since Ahsoka for sure, and I mean, the last I think piece of content I dropped was I think a live stream,
Yeah, it was. I think our reactions to episode
the last
whatever.
episode, episode
Yeah, the
8.
last episode. Yeah, episode 8.
Yeah, so
Uh, yeah.
it's it, yeah, I so maybe we should just start here. What were your thoughts with Ahsoka? Like, and then I can kind of get into my stuff as well.
Okay, so my thoughts on Ahsoka. I thought, um, overall it was better content than what we've been getting, what we got from Kenobi and Andor, and kind of that whole thing. It was better storytelling. I felt like there was a coherent story there.
Hmm.
I really did like it. The only thing I didn't like really about it was and it's live action, so I have to think about that too. It's not going to be perfectly like Rebels was, but it didn't get to that point of it feeling like an actual Rebels show,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least for me.
Well,
Like it was,
it was just
it was,
different. I feel like.
yeah, and
Hmm.
that's kind of what it was. So
Yeah. So, like for me, the reason I wouldn't even say Star Wars. I wouldn't say Star Wars. The content itself is the reason I stopped watching.
no,
Um, like it was more so just the busyness of life for me. So, like, just to
Yeah.
throw it out there, like, I'm not displeased with the content that we've been getting. Senator Tony says he's been just watching Ahsoka and rewatching Star Wars content, which is probably honestly what I need to do. Is I probably do to go back and watch all the movies. Uh, the for me, again, the time commitment of things, it's hard for me to go back and sit through all of the Clone Wars and Rebels and all of the
Yeah.
longer series. Even like going back and watching Bad Batch, I need to like go catch up probably on season 2 before this Wednesday. Um, this is a funny comment. He says this sounds like an AA meeting.
Well, typically when we have done this, it's when we're back to watching Star Wars. So
Yeah, yeah.
you're
And
not
hey,
wrong, John.
the good news is we're here because we're excited for Star Wars again, and we're
Yeah.
excited to talk to you, Tony, and whoever else may hop on here. So that's why we're here. But yeah, like again, it wasn't anything wrong with Star Wars. It was
No.
just the busyness of life. But I'm excited to get back to it. And one thing I can commit to, I feel like, is doing at least one stream a week. And you and I talked about this, doing
Yeah.
one stream a week. And then I was kind of like talking to Tony and stuff in my Discord, in the Star Wars Democracy Discord. But just I may not be able to I love making the videos. Um, but they're a big time commitment. I like
Yeah.
making them, so I'm just going to really focus on the videos that I want to make and the topics that I want to talk about. So, during Bad Batch, I may not necessarily make a ton of Bad Batch videos.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in like aspects of the Force and kind of like the philosophy behind the Force and things like that.
Yeah.
So I might focus a lot of my attention on that.
I think
But
a
yeah,
lot of the discussions though that we'll have on stream will be on Bad Batch and other
yes,
Star Wars content, but probably not as much of like, hey, here's what you missed in this episode. Like it would probably be great for viewers and all of that to understand, but for time commitment purposes, we can't really do that. And so
yeah, yeah.
at least focus on what we like and enjoy the Star Wars content that we're gonna make.
Yeah. Well, and Tony brings up a good point here. We finally got the announcement of movies, and these movies, well, you say finally after several years, Tony, but really we've been getting announcements for movies for a long time now.
They've just been
Um,
getting pushed and pushed
they
and
get
pushed.
pushed and pushed, but it seems like this time that they're going to stick with it, and we're going to get a Mandalorian and Grogu movie
Mandalorian.
on May 22nd. 2026, and then there's another slot for this December of 2026. Then I believe the next slot, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the next slot is December 2027.
So
So, but
are they making Mando and Grogu two separate movies, or is that
nope,
gonna be?
that's just one. So the May 22nd, the spring 2026 movie will be the Mandalorian Grogu. So that will be the first one to come out, and then I believe the December 2026 movie will be
Is it Dave's movie?
Dave's movie, yes. And then the 2027 movie is the Shermaine Bachoy
Oh,
one. And I think,
Obeda Troy. Yeah,
thank you. And that will be in 2027, and that's the Ray movie,
right.
supposedly.
Okay.
That one to me is the most volatile in terms of what may or may not happen. I'm pretty
Yep.
confident that they're going to move forward with the Mandalorian and Grogu and Dave's movie.
Yeah. Which I
But
just have to say, for the Ray movie, for all the crap that we, or at least I have for just like the sequels and everything, I really feel bad for Daisy of what she's had to gone through. Of like, hey, we're gonna announce this movie, and then it's like, yeah, we're just gonna push that to the far, back far burner, and it's
yeah,
like no one really cares about it. And I'm like, then why even announce it? If there was no plan in place, once again, it's like, why do you keep making these announcements and not fulfilling the obligations of those people?
yeah, well, I mean, like, this, I think, I mean, there's a good chance it will happen. I just think out
Yeah,
of the three that they currently have, it's probably the most. If there was one to fall through, the cracks, then obviously I think it would be that one. Tony says the format is okay with me, a casual get together to discuss the previous week stuff. Yeah. So that's what I think we're going to roll with, is just, let's just talk, whatever has been going on. We'll keep it pretty casual. And yeah. So I appreciate your support, Tony. Tony, you're the one who's always here. So, and you're a senator of this channel. So I feel like you need to have the vote. What day works best for you? Right now, Journeyman and I were kind of thinking on Thursdays, right? Isn't that what we decided?
I think that's what we decided.
Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thursdays is kind of what we're looking at right now. So if Thursdays work for you, Tony, let us know. If another day works better for you, since you're the senator of our channel here, just let us know, and we can try to be pretty flexible, I think.
Yeah.
He says it's so boring right now that Lucasfilm has to release old movies.
Yeah.
It's
I
true.
mean,
It's like I am excited. Like I am excited to go see the prequels again. The only prequel movie I saw in theaters is Revenge of the Sith. All the other ones, also, I don't. Did Phantom Menace came out in '99, so I was alive, but I was way too young to go watch that in theater. And then the same thing with Attack of the Clones, Episode 2, too young. Revenge of the Sith, I was old enough to go actually watch that one in the theater. So
maybe I did watch Revenge of the Sith, but I'm not sure. I don't remember that, so I probably didn't. So for me, I hadn't watched any of them in theaters, in theaters, of course, in home, but that's kind of different.
Yeah. So I think it'll be exciting for you and me to be able to go to experience those, I think, in theaters.
I want to. I so want to.
Yeah. He asks here, are we happy that Dave got promoted? Of course I'm happy.
Yes. I'm so happy. The only thing I got sad at the promotion is that Kathleen didn't get fired. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
But as long as Dave's still getting promoted, that's a great thing.
Yeah. So Tony, remind me, I've been out of it. Did his promotion, it came after the Ahsoka series, right? I think Tony may have to confirm, but I think the COO promotion came after.
I think I heard about it. Yeah. I think it came after the Ahsoka.
They were like, let's see how fans react to this, how well it is done, which, they're making a season 2, right? I'm pretty sure that's all but confirmed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
He says yes. He says yes, that happened after Ahsoka. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I think that I guess technically then everything that is greenlit after Ahsoka in terms of projects will have Dave's probably final stamp of approval. So things like the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, which she's probably involved with since that's John's stuff, or Mandoverse stuff. But like Acolyte, Andor season 2, maybe some other ones probably don't have his stamp of approval.
Sure.
Maybe they have some of his, thoughts and
when is Acolyte supposed to be coming out, by the way?
Acolyte comes out, again, I'm relying on Tony here, but it comes out 2024. I want to say probably mid 2024, if not later in 2024. Skeleton Crew comes out later 2024, like probably December, fall.
Interesting.
So
that's interesting.
Oh, next year, Tony? I thought it was February, March of next year.
Maybe they pushed everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that. I thought it was definitely coming out this year, but maybe we can do.
I have a question for Senator Tony. Do you like that they're pushing Mando stuff to movies? I'll even ask you that question. Is like, I love Mando, I do, but I also feel like we've been getting a lot of Mando-verse stuff, which is great. Like, it's connecting everything, and we've been wanting that connectivity, but I'm kind of growing a little tired, just a little bit, on Mando and Grogu a little bit. It's like, so
that's a
small,
good question.
But like, how do we feel about that?
It's a good question. Yeah, I'm curious what you think on that, Tony. For me, I feel like I do feel like Mandalorian season 3, which we've talked about,
Hmm.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I will say
Hmm.
this, just my raw reaction take on that question is I would rather, at this point, given where we left off on the Mandalorian season 3, I feel like I'm more content with having a movie than I am a season 4, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Mandalorian season 3 would have been a really good movie. I'm not sure how great it was of a season, if that makes sense.
Also, I feel like we're both tired on TV formats, which we thought would work swimmingly for Star Wars, and we're just like, give me 2 hours, let me watch it and get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think even Ahsoka, so obviously Kenobi, which we've talked about a lot before too, would have done better probably as a movie. And I know they have that cut, and I think even Ahsoka would have been. I would have. I really did like it. I would say Ahsoka's a pretty darn near close to 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it for sure would have been a 10 out of 10 if it was a movie because we didn't have to wait. And I would say one thing I loved about Ahsoka, maybe you disagree with me on this, is I did not
Hmm.
feel like there was a lot of filler in it. Did you feel like there was a lot of filler in it? Like I know there was some slower parts to it, but
There's definitely some slow parts, but overall, it fit the main story pretty well. Like
and
there was not a lot of
yeah,
like
like well, so and okay,
unnecessary parts.
let me take back what I said. Filler to me is almost where whatever is in the show doesn't it is not it's like a side plot or it's a secondary plot. To me, everything in the Ahsoka show was geared towards the primary plot. It's just some of the pacing felt a little bit off in the episodes. In particular, episode 3, I believe, which is the one where she was in the spacesuit in space.
Yeah,
I felt like even though that was a really cool episode, I didn't love it as a standalone episode, as in
yeah,
we had to wait, a whole week to get that. And I think that that is the part where I don't love the TV format is I don't like the sensation or the thought of, oh, I had to wait all week to see that because then it takes me away from the experience. Whereas if I can just know, okay, that was really, I didn't love that episode, like the pacing was a little bit off, but I can just jump right into the next episode. I
yeah.
think that that would benefit, but that's not a very good model in terms of revenue for a
Well,
streaming
and
platform.
then
So,
they've also just tried, like, with the TV model and trying to do it within a universe, either Marvel or Star Wars in particular, like trying to create a universe over it and doing these mini series is you're trying to create a cliffhanger off of every episode, and that doesn't
mhm,
work. Like, you can only do cliffhangers for so long of like, oh, it's this person, and then we get into next episode, and then it's like, okay, so that was it. Like that's what you
mhm,
gave me, and like you
mhm,
can't keep doing that for every episode. But if you did it, if Ahsoka was the whole movie, and they did it right on the last episode with Balin, but him looking out over the whole thing and being like, where's he going?
mhm.
That type of cliffhanger, and that be the only cliffhanger, and they kind of did that. That's how you kind of do it
Mhm.
if you're gonna
Yeah,
do a
well, I
show.
mean, the series ended phenomenal with Ezra returning to the known galaxy, with Sabine and Ahsoka being stuck in the new galaxy, and with
And
the whole
Thrawn even being
Balin
in the
scene.
returning,
Yeah,
yeah.
it sets it up so good, and I'm so excited for season 2. I I'll come back to this comment here pretty soon, but he said yes for season 2 for Ahsoka, so he confirmed that. And then he says, my reason why fans are getting tired of the TV series is all the time spent making theories on the next episode and then getting it wrong, which I'll let you touch on that because I know that you 100% agree
Yes.
with that.
So, Tony, I 100% agree with you on this. Um, we were actually talking earlier that, and this is my problem with a lot of it, is that exact thing. We listen to a bunch of people talk about what's going to possibly happen for next episode. we make our predictions as well, what we think would be cool or something we would like to see, and then those we get it wrong, and so we're disappointed at it, and we're like, well, why didn't they think of any of our ideas, you know? And so
Hmm.
we're felt like we had a stake in it, which to your point that you've always made is like we don't touch the product. All we do is consume the product and we judge it based off of what we have got, you know? And so I feel like we just keep letting ourselves down by making these predictions. And so I think that's why we stuck to we're sticking going to try and stick to the 1 week or at least one live stream a week is so we're not getting caught up in the prediction business. We're in the production of making like reaction videos of like what is our actual thoughts of the actual episode. And so we can enjoy the content more than what it is. We may have our own thoughts of what we think would be better, but it's not necessarily a prediction. It's just, hey, I think this would have been a better way of doing certain thing. So that's kind of I agree with you, Tony, though. Ultimately, like that is really why I've gotten so tired.
Yeah, and he says it right here too, right? Fans get so hyped only to be let down. Movies don't have time for that, and that's 100% true. But Tony, the question I pose is, it didn't seem that way for The Mandalorian season 2. It didn't feel like the same way back then as it does now. But I feel like the man
I
maybe
think it
the
was just
maybe the Mandalorian season 2 was just that predictable because I feel like fans were pretty spot on with what was going to happen every week. You know what I mean?
sure it may have been predictable, but it also and there may have only been one course of action that they could have gone, you know. So it was very easy to predict. I feel like it was also even though season 1 and season 2 happened relatively quickly, I think in my mind, like they made them pretty quick. You're still coming off of the newness of having Disney Plus, coming off of the newness of like the TV format for Star Wars and Marvel, that like it drives these things quicker. So now we're
Mhm,
just now learning like, hey, this probably isn't the way of doing things. Like let's just
mhm,
go back to what you've always done, Lucasfilm, and like make movies. That's what you've
mhm.
done to make your money. So
Yeah, yeah. So long story short, I'm excited for
yeah,
the movie format of The Mandalorian Grogu. I'm excited to see what they do, especially when you think about the Mandalorian has grown to be so cinematic in a lot of ways, and so it'll be really
sure.
nice to
Yeah.
have that budget to do a cinematic film to see it on the big screen. I bet it's gonna be our Mandalorian and Grogu characters, but it's gonna feel high budget and really exciting. So I am looking forward to it. Wanted to give a quick shout out to Travis. What's up, buddy? Thank you for joining us. We're just kind of catching up on all things Star Wars. So
I know I said little hypocritical here. But for Mando and Grogu, do you think I'm gonna kind of make a prediction here, or not prediction, I guess, but a question. Are we gonna get John Williams' Star Wars theme song for Mando and Grogu, or are they doing something different? Because it's not within the Skywalker saga.
I don't think that he's going to be involved with the project. I could be wrong. Um,
I'm not saying he composes it. I'm saying like, do we get that dun, da, 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 like that whole
I don't
thing?
think so.
No.
Mm-mm. No, because to me, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Rogue One or the Rogue One and what's the other film? Why am I drawing? Solo. Solo. I don't think
Yeah.
either one of those do it, and I think that this is kind of in the same camp. Senator Tony says exactly what I thought. The composer that does Rebels, Bad Batch, Clone Wars,
Yeah.
Ahsoka, the Kevin Kiner, does fantastic work, and he would be I want to say is it the Kiner brothers, Tony? Are they brothers, or there's a few of them? I think Kevin Kiner is the main one, but they do fantastic work. Like Ahsoka felt very Star Warsy to me in terms of the music, so they would
Yeah.
be my choice. Um, he says yes, so I would say, that would be my choice. I mean, I think Ludwig Göransson doesn't
The
do it
guy who
anymore.
did
He did Mando 1 and 2, but he did not do 3.
interesting.
Um,
Okay.
I don't know who did 3, but it wasn't him, and he was really good too. But I don't think he does Star Wars anymore.
Hmm.
Which, do you remember? He's also the one that did Black Panther too.
Really?
Wakanda Forever. Yes, and I remember
Hmm.
watching that in theaters with you. I'm like, this music. I didn't know that he did the composing uh,
Oh,
for
well
that
then, yeah,
going
well then
into
he
it, and I was
did.
like, this sounds really good. And I was like, the music is spot on for Wakanda Forever, and yeah, it was him. So Tony says Kevin Kiner is the new John Williams. I would agree. He does pretty
Yeah,
fantastic,
pretty
and
good.
he's becoming the new composer of Star Wars. He does Bad Batch as well. So Travis here says Solo has a theme composed by John Williams, but you got musical stings of Williams in both Rogue One and Solo. I think you get hints of Yoda in the Force theme for Grogu. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I would agree. So they probably bring in a lot of inspiration from John
yeah, it's
Williams
probably both.
and themes, but I don't know if he will be like the main one to actually do it.
I was just wondering because, you know, when we go watch a Star Wars movie, we're always considering like that grand opening and
Yes.
getting us all in the Star Wars mood. And that's kind of why I was asking. Like, do you think they would bring that back for it?
Yeah.
But
I don't think so. I don't think so for
I don't think so either. But I was
yeah.
just kind of posing the question.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, we've been going on for about 27 minutes here. We're not done by any means. We're just getting
No,
started. Uh, but the real reason why I wanted to talk is obviously we do have the Bad Batch coming up soon. Do you want to go through some of the first reactions? So I don't even know if you know this, but they did go ahead and release the first 8 episodes, I believe. So, do you even know anything about the Bad Batch schedule? I know you've been like pretty much out of it.
I'm out of it. I'm
Okay.
totally lost.
Okay. So,
I
quick
watched the
rundown.
trailer a little bit, and that was it. So,
Yeah. So I know we're
because
fresh.
you texted me about it, and I'm like, oh, they
Yeah.
dropped it. Okay.
The trailer looks really really cool. So I'm really excited about it. But a couple things. So there's going to be a 3 episode premiere this Wednesday. Now,
Hmm.
Travis and Tony, you may have to remind me or tell me, but I think for now the assumption is they're coming out early in the morning like they used to until we hear otherwise. So Central Time, that's 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. on Wednesday, I think is the plan right now.
Hmm.
Um, but in the 3 episode drop premiere, and then they've released the titles of the episodes for all the
Hmm.
episodes like they did for season 2, but
Hmm.
historically they've been 16 episode seasons. They've only
Hmm.
released 15.
Ooh.
And the last episode, that would be the 16th, I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong on this, I believe comes out around May the 4th.
Ooh.
So, but it's only 15. They've only said that there's going to be 15 episodes. So the assumption and the speculation is they're going to do a surprise episode
Ooh.
around May the 4th.
You kind of have to, though, right?
You kind of have
That'd
to.
be.
And I think you kind of have to do Vader.
I think he did too. I mean,
There's
I
a
mean, it's been all the speculation though from the
mhm,
beginning of what it was going to be,
yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, and there's again, I don't know if you've watched the trailer. I've only watched it a few times, but
I've only watched it once, so I
so
probably need to
Palpatine says
watch it again.
something in there where he's like, basically, I don't know the exact wording. Someone in the chat can tell me. But Palpatine's like, you can basically, whatever you need to get this done. And we're not really sure what he's talking about. But he's basically promising somebody, like,
All the resources go to
you
that.
can have all. And I'm like, okay. So my theory and speculation is because the last time we see Omega and Crosshair, they're on Mount Tantus because Omega gets captured.
Right, because they're going to rescue her. Yeah. Hmm.
Right. So Omega gets captured. I think that she is going to find a way to escape somehow, and I think that what we're really going to get from this season is a connection to the sequel trilogy, in that we're really going to see Palpatine's contingency plan for the cloning operation. Everything points to it at this point, from what we've seen in the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian with Grogu, and especially season 2 with the Snokes and things like that. Everything is pointing to that, and so I think basically they're going to lose Omega, and he's going to be like, whatever you, Palpatine is going to say, whatever you need to like get her back, you have. And I'm like, well, why not just use Vader?
Yeah.
So that's my hope, at least. But Tony, I got to scroll back. Tony says, what did he say? In talking about theories, he says, I'm not doing that for Bad Batch. I'm staying away from theories. So sorry, Tony.
I think that's
can't
the
help
best.
it.
I think that's the best thing that
I can't
you
help
could
it.
do.
I'm just going off of the trailer, okay, people?
No, I know. I'm just saying, for all of us, we collectively kind of just need to stay away from that, because watching the thing is going to be much better than theorizing. That's
Yeah, I
all
agree.
I'm saying.
I agree. That's why we are doing reaction streams once a week and not prediction streams. Okay, people, we're doing reaction streams. We're not going to sit here and predict what we think is going to happen. We'll save that to all the other YouTubers. We're just going to do our reaction to what's going on. So if you want reactions and not predictions, you're in the right place. So let's see. Going back to Travis here for a second. Senator Travis says, I think this film's goal, talking about the Mandalorian Grogu, is to blur that line between TV and cinema. So making the TV composers the film composers makes sense. Yeah, I would agree. I think they're trying to, hopefully, and I don't know if you were here listening to it the whole time, Travis, but, Journeyman and I's opinion is we need to, the TV format worked for a little bit, but I think we need to slowly start transitioning that away and back to the big screen.
Movies.
Star Wars is meant for the big screen. So, yeah, I would agree with you there. So let's see. Palpatine is likely talking about spoilers, which I wouldn't say this is really a spoiler because it's literally in the trailer. Did you know the Asajj Ventress is in the trailer? Did you see that?
I don't think I remember that. I've only watched it once. I got to go back and watch it.
Asajj Ventress is in the trailer.
Ooh.
With a yellow lightsaber.
What's she doing back?
Well, there's a whole book called Dark Disciple, and I haven't read it, but she like meets up, and do you know Quinlan Voss, right?
Quinlan Voss, yeah.
Yeah, they have like a romantic relationship between Asajj and Quinlan, and that's in the Dark Disciple novel. I have not read it, but they've said, the showrunners have said, yes, she is in it, so it's not really a spoiler. And that they're not going to be retconning anything in that novel, because a lot of people love that novel. So that's kind of good. So yeah. Tony says, if we're going down a theory road, then Mount Tantus gets destroyed to end the arc of Camino getting destroyed. So the same thing at the end of season 1 in the Bad Batch. Tony thinks that Mount Tantus is going to be destroyed, which I could see happening, Senator. I really could. I kind of don't hope. I really want to see more Mount Tantus, though. Like, I kind of want it to be that secret base of operations, and I would love to see it in live action.
Yeah.
Or we could see
that would be kind of a cool. Ooh. In animation, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. See Palpatine go to Exegol and kind of like make, like, I just wonder how early he started making those contingencies,
That, because that is a question. Yeah.
It's like, when did he start making those plans and stuff?
Yeah.
Tony says Omega joins Ventress as an apprentice. That would be cool.
That'd be interesting.
Cool for sure.
So, I guess one question that I kept forgot: who is with the Bad Batch? It is Echo, right? It's Hunter. It's everyone except Tech.
Well, Tech
right?
dies. Yeah, Tech dies.
Yeah. But
no,
Rex
that's
there,
not
right.
So no. Okay, this is going to be really bad, people, but I need to go back and watch the Bad Batch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Echo leave the Bad Batch to go help Rex? Echo
he
Echo
leaves.
leaves them.
He leaves, but I think in the last episode he comes. They form up, right? And they're like, Echo's back because Tech died, basically, right?
I don't know. I need to go
And
watch
that's.
it.
I'm just asking because my question is Rex even there?
He's
I
in
don't think
this
Rex
next
is there.
season. He's in this next season. He's not a part of the Bad Batch, though. No, no.
Ooh, that'd be interesting if he saw. I'm not making predictions. I'm just theorizing. That'd be like a really
Yeah.
cool shot. But
Yeah. The thing is I need to go back and watch the season
oh yeah,
2 because
yeah.
I need to catch up on it.
I'm so out of it.
Which is
It's bad.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
He Tony says he needs a pint of Bad Batch on a quick drip. He's like, I do too, probably.
I do. Yeah.
I need
It's
to get
bad.
back on the Bad Batch train. Travis here says the idea that Ventress apparently cheats death is a direct threat to Palpatine's power, an implication he's weaker than another Force user, so he'd be intimidated by her return. Yeah, I agree. I think that she will be a force to be reckoned with in this for sure. Goes on to say, I could see Ventress cornering some clones, cutting out the chips in their heads, revealing she's operating under Fulcrum and is sent to free the clones by maybe Ahsoka. Interesting. So you think that
That's an
Ventress
interesting
and
theory.
Ahsoka could be working together?
That's an interesting theory.
So that's the other question. Will we see Ahsoka in the Bad Batch season 3? Because we know at this point that in the timeline, the last time we would have seen her
is after Order
is after Order 66, and it is she takes on Fulcrum in Tales of the Jedi when she meets back up with Bail Organa and leaves with Bail Organa.
Yeah, and it's after her funeral or Padme's funeral, right? Like that's
well, after Padme's funeral, but then she leaves and then goes to that planet where she becomes where she goes under the name Ashla, and she defeats that Inquisitor. So it takes place. Someone may have to confirm.
That's a big time jump, yeah.
Yeah, someone may have to confirm in the chat what the actual time jump is, but it's an Inquisitor, so it would tell me that it probably happens. Oh, that's another thing. Will we see the Inquisitors formation in Bad Batch? I think we're getting a little too ahead of ourselves, don't you?
I don't know. Yeah, we just kind of need to. We should be reacting.
Well, we can't help it. I can't help it. Theories are fun. I want to see the Inquisitors. I want to see. I'm writing that down for a video. Because the point of this conversation, I titled the stream Bad Batch Season 3, Not What We Expect. Because I think what we expect out of the Bad Batch is the typical adventure of the week type episodes that we've gotten historically. But I feel like, and we can get into like some of we went on a long tangent, but where I was going with all of this is they've released the first 8 of the 15 episodes to people that can watch it and give their reactions and stuff. So we can read some of their ratings. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's do that. Let's jump in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up on my other screen here. But I do think like in this particular, season, it's not what we would typically expect. So let's see. Okay, you want me to just read the whole article from the direct, or at least the start of it?
Sure. I mean, I can pull it up if you want me to, and I can follow along.
It's okay. I'll just read it here.
Okay.
So this is an article from the direct. Star Wars Bad Batch Season 3 reviews. Critics share strong first reactions. So starts with saying the first reactions to Season 3 of Star Wars The Bad Batch are in with critics claiming the Disney Plus show's final chapter is not just its best, but possibly the most pivotal. So, did you know that this is for sure the last season of the Bad Batch?
No, I didn't know. I thought
Okay, so this is the last season. So that tells you right away that the stakes are going to be a lot higher, I think.
so.
And
Basically, D. Bradley Baker's job is done.
pretty much, yeah. Unless, yeah, pretty much. And just because I saw Tony's comment, I think I didn't quite catch this one on the screen here, but he says everyone that needs to die dies, which I think is an interesting thought to have too, because this is the last season, so we could see a lot of things.
Yeah.
But oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. So kicking off with a 3-episode premiere on February 21st, The Bad Batch's third and final season finds Clone Force 99 attempting to rescue their youngest member, Omega, and sister of Boba Fett, from an Imperial cloning facility. Now that Star Wars critics have seen the first 8 episodes of The Bad Batch Season 3, the first round of reactions and reviews have been shared on X, formerly Twitter. I love how they have to make that disclaimer. It's like it's been X for a while now, people.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tessa Smith from Mama Geekies described visuals as stunning, the action as intense, and that she cannot wait for more. So that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Critic Ashley Saunders also praised the incredible animation, but went on to tease Easter eggs, cameos, and other surprises. So there you go. Surprises. Here's one we can talk about. Collider's Maggie Levitt appeared to agree with the consensus of season 3 being the best yet, but also pointed out the show's darker turn. It described huge ties to Star Wars lore.
Ooh, I like darker tones, so if
Yes.
they're going that way, I'm happy.
Yes, which again, go look up the trailer because that Palpatine, the way Palpatine, it's Ian McDermott that voices Palpatine again, so it's just very sinister, which is exciting.
Should I pull it up now or watch it or just
Yeah,
on?
I think we could watch it after the stream. Read a few comments here. Given Quinlan Voss's love for Ventress and tapping into the dark, I could see him learning the Night Sister magic, bringing Asajj back, likely something mentioned, but not shown here. And yeah, that would be cool. That would be really cool. So Travis, again, I haven't read the Dark Disciple novel, but do we for sure know that Asajj dies? I'm genuinely asking. I need to go research that a little bit more.
To be honest with you, I didn't know she died.
Yeah, well, I
Or
don't.
at least
Maybe
I can't remember.
Yeah, I guess we need some more information on that. But Travis says, I think Cut, the deserter clone, hears of Omega being hunted, deciding to leave his family to help the Batch, ultimately taking her in with his family at the end. That would be cool. So, do you think Omega dies? Sorry to go there, but
you're asking big questions. Which is fine. It's the first episode. We haven't been back in a while, so I think for the first
let's ask the
episode
big
we
questions.
let's just ask the big question. Do I think Omega dies? Part of me thinks yes, only because this is my opinion on it. I think it's the reason why Snoke does not turn out the way that he does, like he should.
Oh, is it because they needed Omega?
Like they needed her healthy and her blood healthy, and if they kill her, I don't feel like they're gonna have the right genes or blood or whatever, like to have it be healthy enough to transfer whatever into Snoke.
Okay, interesting.
That's at least my opinion.
Yeah.
If we're going down that road, because they talk about gene splicing a lot, and I'm like, well, you have basically Palpatine who is dead. He created a new body that didn't really work out, even though we see him having a body in Rise. But Snoke Snoke never looks right, and they were trying to make Palpatine in the first place. So I think if you're trying to gene splice it all, and you have two bad genes together, like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to turn out right. That's at least my opinion on it.
Interesting. Okay. So Travis here says, spoilers, yes, Asajj is pronounced dead for a few days, but is brought to Dathomir by Kenobi and Voss, where her body is taken by the Green Knight sister magic, becoming one with the Force and her sisters.
Wait, she's
Interesting.
brought
Okay.
there by Kenobi?
Oh, that's what it says here. Is that in the Dark Disciple book, Travis? You have to confirm for us.
That's interesting that Kenobi would do that.
Yeah, well, he'll have to confirm. Tony's he right.
He right.
You right. You right. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Let's go on with some more
Yeah.
reactions here. In an additional post, Mason admit. Wait, did I skip one? Yes,
It's
sorry, I
okay if
skipped
you
one.
did.
Jordan Mason from Cinelex warned this season ain't messing around, and even named The Bad Batch as his favorite Star Wars animated series.
That's a strong claim.
And I think he's a pretty
That
reputable person. I know Josh from the Den of Nerds has, I think, talked about him before. His favorite animated series.
that's a strong claim, buddy. You
You're
have
you're
Clone Wars
talking
and you
Rebels
have Rebels.
season 3, season 4 of Rebels, uh, season 7 of the Clone Wars, Tales
Yeah,
of the
that's
Jedi. Like that is a strong
yeah.
claim. That's a strong claim.
I'll
It
see it
says
when I believe it, or
yeah,
I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah. In an additional post, Mason admitted, I was about as disinterested in the Bad Batch as one could get. This is the same person who just said that it's the best animated series. So he was disinterested in the Bad Batch when the show was first debuted, and is curious whether the back half of the season sticks the landing. Because they haven't seen the back half of the season. They've only seen the
Sure.
first half. Yeah, his actual post said, was able to watch the first 8 episodes of The Bad Batch season 3, and folks, this season ain't messing around. It's firing on all cylinders and pretty much cemented this as my favorite Star Wars animated series. So there you go.
That's once again another strong claim.
Yeah. Let's see here. Cinema Blend's Adam Holmes noted the first 8 episodes deliver in terms of Omega and Crosshair, both of whom are imprisoned in Mount Tantus. So that's good to know that we're going to get some Omega and
Oh yeah, I
Crosshair.
forgot Crosshair. Yeah, is with the yeah.
It says, meanwhile, Aubrey Dreamed of Magic, confirmed season 3, picks up where we left off. So there you go. Let's see. Nerdist Eric Ainsley Diaz highlighted 2 Bad Batch characters, praising Crosshair's great character arc and Ian McDermott's return to voice Emperor Palpatine. So there you go. Here's one about the Adventure of the Week format. So for Star Wars fans familiar with the Bad Batch's Adventure of the Week format, Adam Blevins from Agents of Fandom shared that season 3 strikes the perfect balance between that style and the overarching story, all while building towards something huge. So it sounds like we may still get that Adventure of the Week format, which at this point is, basic. That's just Bad Batch. So it's to be expected at this point. But it sounds like it's still, overarching wise,
it needs
goes
still
along.
it still needs to hold the ground of the overarching plot.
Yeah. Let's see here. Travis says one possible route they could go is revealing that while the clones age half as fast as humans, Omega ages twice as slow as the clones, allowing her to appear 20 when she's 40, etc. That could be interesting. It's like she slows her age way down. So the question I think becomes is, why don't we see her in, you know, content down the line? Like, what happens to her?
Yeah.
Does she just assimilate into everyday life with um what's the guy's name? Cut, the one that just kind of assimilated into daily life that we see in season 1.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't really. Maybe they just have to, like, maybe they realize that Omega is so important that they have to hide her, and she just has to become a normal person. It's possible. Let's see. Senator Tony says, if you see the very first Clone movie, you get the feeling that Kenobi and Ventress were messing around. Oh, you're talking about the Clone Wars movie.
Movie. Oh.
Yeah, interesting. So Travis says Dark Disciple was written by Katie Lucas as a season 8 arc of Clone Wars that would have taken up the majority of the season, and Asajj goes through a lot during it. Haha. And then Tony says Travis Ventress is special to me with her character. I'm excited to see her again. Yeah, a lot of people are really excited about seeing Asajj Ventress. So
Hmm.
it wouldn't happen, but Cad Bane is involved. So seeing him volunteer to be cloned by the Empire, going up against the Jango clones of Boba Fett would be insane. Also allowing Bane to be alive later. Okay. You think we're gonna get clones of Cad Bane? So Travis,
Oh,
you're I love it. You're one of those guys that you'll just think of anything and everything and go for it. I love that. That's what Star Wars is for. So
yeah. I mean,
I love it. Um, let's see. Gizmodo's James Whitbrook also commented on the new season's balance, acknowledging how even inconsequential stuff is woven into its wider climax.
if they can do that well, then yes, I'll be happy with the product.
And then critic Michael Lee also had nothing but praise for the Bad Batch's final season and made mention of Easter eggs that tease an exciting future for Star Wars.
Interesting.
So,
Because
and that's
that
kind of
is the
it.
big, yeah, that kind of is the big question though that I have if this is the final thing. It's like, at least for animation stuff, it's like, where do you go from here? Like, the Clone Wars is over, Rebels is kind of over. Like, you're gonna have to come up with, like, we're past Order 66, all of that stuff. Like, where do you go from here to really engage with Star Wars fans? Like,
Well, that's a good point.
they tried to do that a little bit with that Resistance TV show, but I've never watched it. Um, but like, where are you going to go to now for animation? That's kind of my question.
Yeah, well, and maybe Travis or Tony in the chat can help us out here. But I have heard that this is in an interesting way. So the Bad Batch season 3, the final season, is being deemed as the last tie to George Lucas Star Wars,
Mm,
which is kind of interesting because I guess, and I say that, and maybe I'm just stupid. I don't really understand why. I don't know if George was instrumental in the Bad Batch's creation.
well, I think he came up with the if I'm remembering this correctly, Dave kind of talked about it. Like, George had an idea for this Clone Force 99. I don't think they realized what it would be called or whatever, but he came up with this like elite group of clones and they just never made it, I think. And so they put it into season 7 and then that's why the Bad Batch became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he created it a while ago. They just never had a use or a purpose until now, I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I
Yeah,
think I remember.
maybe, and maybe it's just as simple as, like, a lot of the Bad Batch has ties to things that he created. So not necessarily
Yeah.
that he created the Bad Batch, but the Bad Batch is tied to um, things that
Yeah.
that he created, but it is being deemed that. I have seen that on a couple people's videos and on X and Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Is like this is being deemed as like the last George Lucas Star Wars, which is kind of interesting.
That's kind of sad, actually.
I know when you put it that way, it's like that's a real tearjerker. Tony says, "Who's the mystery viewer?" That's number 3. Yeah, I've noticed we've been hovering at 2 this whole time with Tony and Travis, but there's every once in a while you'll see a 3 that pops in. It's like, who are you? Travis says it's possible. I love this, Travis. You need to come back to our streams. It's possible Omega is taken to Exegol at the end alongside the Bad Batch, who are frozen in carbonite or something, allowing them to be used again at any time in the timeline. Taken to Exegol. What do you think about that?
Too like far-fetched? I said, I think it's for Snoke. Like that's kind of my prediction. If I'm making a prediction, a bold prediction, the one prediction I'm making is that's what she's used for.
Do you think, like, let's just make this black and white, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say the end of this season. Do you, and it can only, there's only 2 answers, good or bad. Do you think that this season ends badly for our protagonists? Or do you think it ends hopeful? So let me back up. I'm sure it will end hopeful because that's what Star Wars is. Like, I'm sure that there will be a glimmer of hope at the end. But I'm just saying for our main protagonist, the Bad Batch, Omega, do you think it ends poorly for them, or do you think that it ends okay for them? I'm kind of leaning, and I kind of hope that it goes poorly for them, and we kind of have like a Revenge of the Sith / Empire Strikes Back ending where the bad guys win, yet there's a glimmer of hope. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I think that's what they should do, and they need to do, because I get it. Like Star Wars is about hope and that adventure and that like striving for the next thing, you know, like looking for that better tomorrow thing. But I feel like you can't have that unless your world gets shattered. And so for fans watching this, I feel like you kind of have to shatter our worlds and our expectations of things. I'm not saying predictions or anything like that. I'm just saying like of what we think the outcome should be, of like it's hopeful or it's not. Like you kind of need to just wreck that and be like, it's gonna get wrecked, but there's that last glimmer of hope for the Republic and for whatever is to come next. It's like, here's your next thing.
Yeah. I hope that this.
I also think it's just been leading to that though. Like there's after Clone Force or after Order 66, you have the Republic falling. You have everything falling, and it's all against everything's up. Like their back is against the wall. At some point, they kind of have to fail.
Well, they've been on the run the whole time, really. In some way, you know, they've been.
And the only person
running.
And the only person that has their back up against the wall, but that defeated it was Luke. Luke was like the one thing that changed everything. It was the thing that changed everything. And everyone else is just kind of running and trying to throw their shots in when they can, but it's on the run most of the time.
Yeah. Tony says Lucasfilms needs to retain their animation staff. Yeah, they do really great animated work. For sure.
I don't think animation's going in. Yeah, I don't think animation's going in there. I'm just asking, like, what's the new direction for animation?
Yeah. The senator also follows up and says, I can see an animation series after the Bad Batch with Ventress and Omega working with the Path and the beginnings of the rebellion with Bail and Ahsoka. Bring back Ashley Eckstein. Yeah.
I would love to have Ashley back.
That would be really cool. Yes, after the Bad Batch with Ventress and Omega working with the Path in the beginnings. Yeah, I feel like there is a lot more to explore with the path from Kenobi, and that would be really cool, I think. Yeah, good point, Senator. Good point. If it's the last George Lucas story, then Jar Jar is the key to it.
I love it.
End with Omega going her own way, Kelleran Beck and Grogu appearing, revealing Jar Jar was responsible for saving them. Yeah, that's something I want to talk about. I think in my next video is going to be about the Bad Batch, so I'll say that much. But do you think that we're going to see Grogu potentially? No, not
I
feeling
think
it.
not really. I don't feel like we
No,
see him till Mando and Grogu movie. Like,
you
I
don't
feel like
think we see
I think what we
animated
see,
Grogu?
it's Disney, so anything's
Only
possible.
money.
Only money. Yes. I I think what we'll get to see is more of his backstory in the Mando and Grogu show, because I feel like we might continue his story after the temple, because we only got to see a slim shot of that, and I think we could continue his story of being like, hey, here's more of his backstory until we get up to the point that we meet Mando again.
Yeah,
Of like,
yeah,
here's where it connects everything.
yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Makes sense. Let's see. Tony says Travis Mitchell is like one of those 8-ball toys. You shake it and he comes out. Tony, I missed you so much. It's great to be back. Travis says, I think there's enough surviving clones post Bad Batch where you can have a sad but hopeful ending, showing all the surviving clones live their lives. Yeah, because this, and I like that because this show is really about the clones, right? And it's really, that was one of the great things about the Clone Wars series is, and everybody talks about it, is you really get to see how each clone has a personality, how they're not just a number, but each one is their own person, even though there's a lot of them.
Even in the Kenobi show, we see one of the clones sitting on the street, homeless, like
right,
going through it. So
yeah. So, and I like that, Travis, that idea of at the end of this, you see, clones going their own way, basically, and the reality of what they've gone through as brothers, and now they're all kind of like settling and going their own way. I think that would be a really cool way to end it for sure. Tony says potentially. I think that was in reference to Grogu. Let's see. Travis says end with some narration like, I'm going to try to do a good narrator voice here. For us, life goes twice fast, so we have to try to do twice as much. We're a bad batch. We won't see the good days, but we've got time. Cue Linkin Park songs to credit. What is that? What is the Linkin Park song? Why do I think of Transformers?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can see. What
I wanted to read that like Peter. What's his name for Optimus Prime? For us,
Peter
life
Cullen.
goes. Yeah. If you read that as Optimus
My name
Prime,
is Optimus Prime, and I send this message to every surviving
all the
Autobot
surviving clones
living among us. We are here. We are waiting.
That fits so perfectly. Why? Like, to all the surviving clones out there. Oh, that's funny. All right. Let's see. Sometime Moff Gideon captures Grogu, so that needs to be explored. Yeah, that's a good. Like, when does that happen? And what is Grogu's dark past? Ahsoka says that in season 2 of The Mandalorian. Is that just in reference to what he experiences at the Jedi Temple, or does he? I know that I guess at some point Moff Gideon does capture him, and so maybe. But what does that look like?
It's probably
that'll be
both.
exciting. Travis says, I could see the Bad Batch running into Kelleran and Grogu, having to get them from point A to point B in passing. Yeah, I'm telling you, only money when it comes to Grogu.
Only
Grogu in
money.
animation. So, let's see. Travis says, getting a time jump, showing an older Cody arriving on Tatooine, finding Obi-Wan, and having them embrace in a hug could be nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why is
That
that
would be
making
cool.
me tear up already?
I know you Star Wars is getting to you. You're already getting back into it. And Rekka says, I need to blow something up. Or no, I need to blow up something. You gotta love Wrecker.
I'm just a big baby.
You got the reference, haha. So maybe it was. Look that up for me. Look up Linkin Park song. Is that the same Transformers one?
I don't know why.
Can you see an animated Moff Gideon? I'll die. That would be really cool. I think it would be cool because we got it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we got a animated directed Krennic in season 2.
It is,
Batch,
by the
I
way.
think. Is it?
Linkin
That's
Park,
funny.
what I've done. Oh my
So I'm
god.
telling you, you just got to do an Optimus Prime narration voice to that. So that'd be good.
I mean, we do have AI now, so you can do it.
Yeah, someone do it. Travis, if you have a YouTube channel, there is your moneymaker right there. Do your fan film edited version of what the end of the Bad Batch should be, and make it in Optimus Prime's voice. There you go.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to Tony's comment here, can you see an animated Moff Gideon? I'll die. That would be really cool. But do we know what Moff Gideon is doing at this point in the story?
I don't think so. He's. I don't think he's even around, is he?
Well, I don't know. Tony, do we know where Moff Gideon is at in this point in the timeline? Travis says people would hate this, but hear me out. In E.T., when E.T. sees the kid dressed as Yoda saying home, imagine we see E.T.'s species in the Mando movie touching a glowing finger to Grogu's home.
My gosh.
Do you think we'll hear Grogu talk ever? Like his first words?
Didn't he sort of do that last season? I thought we heard something.
He didn't say words, did he?
I've been so out of it. I thought so.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Maybe it was just sounds.
Tony said he works as a spy with the Empire, that organization in Andor. Well, you lost me with Andor. I didn't like it. If you think I don't remember anything about Bad Batch, I really don't remember anything about Andor.
I watched it. I do not remember anything. That felt like homework, and I just threw it out of my head. I'm like, nope, not remembering you.
You said like the KGB of Star Wars. So apparently I need to go back and rewatch Andor.
Yeah, maybe.
Andor. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool things. Going back to the title of the stream, Bad Batch Season 3, not what we expect. I don't think it's what we're going to expect. I have really high hopes for it. And I'm excited, we were talking about this, and I think we've kind of talked about it on the stream just a little bit, but I'm really excited for this Star Wars content in particular, because I'm just going to go into it and just enjoy it.
Yes.
I can't help but do the theories, and that's just who I am. That's why I love it. That's why I made the YouTube channel, so we could talk about the theories and theorize. But I feel like what I've been missing lately, and I don't have a lot of a ton of free time anymore. So I just want to sit down and enjoy it. Just
Yeah.
enjoy the content and not think about it too much.
And if the
Um,
product is bad, we will say it's bad. But we
yeah,
ultimately want to sit down and just be able to watch a piece of content and say like we have actually watched it, because at this point we don't have that much free time.
yeah, yeah. Travis says there is a documentary for E.T. where Spielberg compares E.T.'s powers to that of a Jedi, like healing. And George says, "Yeah, Jedi's can do that." Haha. I feel like George just would say anything. He's like, "Oh yeah, sure, they could
Yeah,
do that."
yeah. Mhm.
Tony says, "Remind me to put a pint of Andor syrup in Journeyman's drink." He's just trying to help
Maybe.
you out.
Uh,
He's just trying to help you out. Let's see.
I
Travis says,
probably
given
need it.
Phoenix and yeah, we probably both need it. Given Finnick's involvement, I imagine Boba Fett joining the fight and ultimately seeing all the clones die around him. Finnick pulling him out, him putting on his helmet and going silent. Yeah. So I think,
Given
correct me if I'm
Phoenix
wrong,
involvement in it.
I think Finnick Shand is in the trailer. So
I
that would
think
be
so.
really
Yeah.
cool. That would be really cool to see Finnick. Do you think we see Boba Fett? That's long been speculated.
I don't know why we can't, but I'm curious as to why we see even Finnick there,
Well, we
because
saw
we
Finnick
see
in season one. She was
that
hired by
was
Nala Se
right.
from Camino to
So what
bring
would
Omega back to
so
save her.
maybe yeah. Hmm.
I don't know why we. I don't know. I've thought about um like Tony says here, Boba Fett and Omega together. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. Brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they mention Boba in the summary, have his nemesis and future girlfriend, then he's probably there. It would be really cool. How old would Boba be at this point, though?
Hmm.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be fun. It'd be fun to
Yeah.
see. There's some theory that will revisit the gunfight between Cad Bane and himself. Oh, interesting. So we'll see how he gets the shot in his helmet
Oh
in
yeah.
this in the Bad Batch. That would be cool.
That'd be
That would be
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
And Omega will be part of that. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'd like that. I just, Tony, you said you're not going to get into the theories.
Oh, we've gotten into it. It's fine.
We've got
It's
into
first
theories.
stream bag.
Bobo would be like 13 and 15. Okay, so like an early teenager.
Hmm.
Tony says, "I'll shut up." No, you don't. You don't
No,
have to.
come on.
You don't have to shut up. I'm just messing around. It's hard not
Bobby
to
rescuing
theorize.
Bobby. Said Bobby.
Uh, yeah, it would be cool. But we're just having fun and theorizing, knowing that none of what we say will probably come true because it never
Yeah.
does.
No, it
So
never does.
yeah. But what else? Anything more fun Star Wars you all want to talk about, Journeyman? Anything that you've been just thinking
I
about
don't
lately?
I don't have anything unless the chat has anything. I don't have anything left.
Yeah, I don't. There hasn't really been anything else going on, obviously, in terms of content. Um, we kind of gave our thoughts about Ahsoka and all that good stuff, wrapping up thoughts there. Um, yeah, I don't think. Just a huge shout out to Tony again. I put this up in the meeting, but Tony is a member again. So truly appreciate that, Tony. Always have appreciated your support, my friend. Um, yeah, excited to be back. Excited to be making content. Travis, how long have you been watching the channel and how long have you been subscribed? Tony, Senator Tony, who we've been chatting with. has been a part of the channel for a really long time, ever since I started. So I started the channel. We started doing like talking and stuff back in December of 22. Um, and so Tony was around close to the beginning, and Tony knows I've taken some breaks here and there, but mostly what happens is that I get really burnt out just trying to push out a lot of content, and I get pretty busy. And so I'm just going to take it easy and try to do one stream a week and videos. And Travis, if you have Discord and want to be a part of the Discord, I can go ahead and give you the Discord link. I'll post it somewhere. Maybe I'll post it in the comments of this stream so that you can hop on to the Discord. Oh, first time watching. Cool. First time watching, pops in my suggestions, just subscribe. Cool. So, well, you came in a really good time. We just started back up for the Bad Batch, and so I'm glad to have you and can't wait to keep talking to you. So, Tony says, I was lost and returned. So, good. I'm glad to have you back. I missed chatting with you, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Kick the fat and goat. I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh, Tony. When I was a small little viewer, yeah, you were one of my first viewers, and I've always appreciated your support. You
absolutely
are pretty awesome. And I know you've been over supporting Mike's channel. You know, a guy who loves Star Wars, Journeyman? You remember him, right?
Yeah.
His channel has grown exponentially over the past couple months.
Really?
I think he was at like 2,000 subscribers.
Nice.
And then now he's at like 8,000. Like his channel is like booming. And I know Tony, while I have been absent, has kind of gone over to his channel and been in his Discord and stuff. So I'm glad to see you supporting Mike, Tony. I've always wanted us three to get together and have a conversation. So maybe you can definitely, maybe you should pitch that, Tony, to Mike. We could all three have a conversation. It would be fun.
At least plant the seed in his ear.
Yeah, yeah. What do you call it when Finnick hangs a dead guy from the ceiling? A chandelier. That's funny. That's funny. That is funny. Oh, Tony, thank you so much. Gifted 1 Star Wars Democracy membership. I really appreciate that, Tony. I don't even really know how that works, to be honest with you. I guess someone can go grab it and
yeah. So yeah.
So Travis.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Tony. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. We see the mystery viewer. Wait, who is it? Did they post something? Hi, Star Wars fan. Another gifted membership? Tony, you're too generous. Too generous.
Too generous.
Yeah, very generous. I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, I don't want to stop talking. I feel like we're just getting going. What else should we talk about?
You want to talk a little Marvel, or no?
I don't really know what's been going on with Marvel. Travis and Tony, should we talk a little bit Marvel, or keep on the Star Wars train? You know, one thing I really have been doing, I was telling Journeyman about this. I've been getting into reading more fiction lately, and just expanding my horizons a little bit with that. So I've been trying to. I've been reading the Narnia books. I've never actually gone and read the Narnia books. But have you haven't read the Narnia books, have you?
No. I watched, I think, the first movie. That was it. And that's really all I know of Narnia.
Yeah. I'm only on the second book, but can't really talk about it, I guess. Let's see. Oh, let me go back here. I'm trying to get Travis. Sorry, Travis. My finger is hurting. I love you, Tony. Travis says, "How would you feel about Mace coming back, and which era would you like to see him return in?" Ah,
Oh.
so I posted a poll on this actually. I'm trying to get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pose that to you, I guess, Journeyman. So first of all, do you think uh, Mace is alive? Did he survive the fall?
I would like to think in my fan fiction brain that he did, that he actually did survive, and that I think the next best person to go train Ray and survive all the way until Ray, that would be him. And after Luke, she would have gone and found Mace and been trained by
Mm-hmm.
Mace. Like that would be
Mm-hmm.
so cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe have actually one last chance of fighting Vader, or at some point like fighting Kylo or fighting Vader, somewhere in between that, like getting a second shot at Vader and
Yeah.
then still losing that battle and then being like, nope, I'm done, and then going and
What?
finding, at
I
least
think that's a
going
good
and
fan theory. Yeah, I think it's a good fan theory. I don't think it'll actually happen, but it's a good fan theory. Um,
yeah,
I so to answer your question, Travis, I want to make a video about this because I know that that's been a conversation that Sam Jackson has had lately. Like I haven't
I,
seen the interview or looked much into it, but like he really believes Mace Windu is alive. Like he's
mm-hmm,
like, oh no, he's alive.
yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not possible. I
I just feel
don't
like
know.
when you have that big of an event happen, for you to, for that one person to still turn, even though they don't know the fate of that, it kind of feels like you ruin everything that that moment means for people.
Hmm. Hmm. So,
That's
so
how I,
I'll say this to answer your question, Travis. I think I really don't want him to come back. As much as I would like for him to come back, I just don't
yeah,
think it will do a great justice to the story. I would say it, and we've talked about this before on the channel. One thing I'm really interested in exploring, and I hope they do one day, is potentially like post Rise of Skywalker. Like I would love to see post Rise of Skywalker, post Episode 9, different factions of Jedi, because the
mm-hmm,
Sith is destroyed. Like I really feel like with the defeat of the Emperor, the defeat of Palpatine on Exegol in Episode 9, the Sith is done. What I would really love to see is like maybe Ahsoka, Rey, Ezra, and it would be really cool. I don't even know if Mace Windu would even be able to be alive after post Episode 9 because that's a lot of
sure,
years.
sure,
I
yeah,
suppose he could, but I would love to see like Mace Windu's version of the Jedi and like have
yeah.
him like kind of recreate his own sect of Force users. So it's kind of like it's really far fetched out
Or
there,
even if
Travis.
you
But
throw him in the prequels, if we're saying like if we want an era for him to come back in, we want it to be right around the prequels after Order 66, after all of it,
mhm,
and him
mhm,
doing that same thing of like creating his own faction, being like, I'm
yes,
going to create my own version of Jedi. Of course, it gets probably wiped out and all that, but at least being able to lay that foundation for his own Jedi, I think that'd be an interesting story,
yeah,
and I think
yeah,
an interesting point of time that we get to
yeah.
see.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I just saw his comment. Oh boy, I've outlined. I've had an outline. I've had an outline for episode 10 through 12 on my phone forever. Haha, that's really cool. I you'd have to. I would love for you to share it. Seriously, if you have a Discord, you should join the Discord. You can
Yeah,
share a little bit of it. Um, that's really cool. But yeah, that's what I would love to see is like the different factions of Jedi post Episode 9.
Yep.
And instead of like having a like I do think you should have like a dark side antagonist. Not necessarily the Sith, but I do think there has to be an antagonist that is like the dark
Yeah.
side. But I would love to see like the the different factions of Jedi have to learn and kind of like
Hmm.
quarrel with each other over what the most accurate interpretation of the Force should be. If
Sure.
that makes
I
sense.
think this is why Marvel is why Endgame was so good, even though it's not the same. It's a shared universe, but it's not like the same ideas, culture, all that, But it's all the differences between those things and coming together for one thing. It's a little different
Hmm.
for Star Wars, but
Hmm.
having them share a universe together and be like, here's everyone's ideas, but we're going to stop that for a common goal. I think that'd be an interesting thing to have. And then you could do, if you wanted to, you could do the Mandalorian Civil War between Jedi. I think that'd be
Yeah.
an interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cool. Like a civil war amongst Jedi. That would be cool. That'd
I
be
think
pretty cool.
that'd be an interesting concept.
And don't even call them Jedi. Just like let's make something new.
No,
Like
yeah,
just for like have them be. I just want to see like we've had the Jedi and Sith for so long. Like let's see all these different groups. Even the Night Sisters from Cetos, the galaxy, the new galaxy, like
yeah,
and these and you have Balin, like who isn't Sith but isn't Jedi. So there's like that faction. Like I just want to see more of that, like what different interpretations of the Force and how it should be used. That's what I want to
yeah.
see more of. And I think Mace Windu would be really cool to bring into that because he is a little bit more dogmatic, I feel like.
I love this
At
comment though.
least
Sam Jackson must be mad working with Marvel. I don't think he's mad working at Marvel. I just feel like he believes Mace Windu's alive and he wants to share that story.
yeah, poor scripts and stories. I didn't even finish Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I watched it. It was it's the ending's stupid in my opinion.
It was okay. Yeah, I didn't even finish it. He said he's not the Sam Jackson from the Avengers days. Yeah, he's definitely getting up there in age, but I wouldn't mind him coming back to Star Wars for something. Let's see. Um, I do think it's convenient that Jackson says that the same year a comic and novel about Mace is announced. Yeah, I've I mean I've heard some buzz out there that a Mace Windu series is a possibility. But
Which
I would
who
love
was
to see. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, who was Mace's master? Was that Yoda or was that
Yes,
someone new?
I believe it was Yoda.
It was Yoda.
Let's see. I can Google it real quick. Now I'm
I don't know
curious.
my Star Wars history lore, I guess.
Yeah, we're casual fans who love Star Wars. Who was Mace Windu's master? I think it was Yoda. Or no?
Master Saw?
That says in Legends. I don't know. I'll have to do some more research on that.
But I think that would be an interesting story, like kind of doing
Mhm.
Tales of the Jedi. Like I think that's what we all have wanted, like Tales of the Jedi more in depth.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be
Like,
cool to like have a segment on him for sure. Which,
mhm,
I won't pull up the article, but that's something that they've also teased out is Asajj Ventress. Um, I think Brad Rao, who is an executive producer for the Bad Batch, has teased
mhm.
that we will be getting more animated content of Asajj Ventress.
Mm.
And so a lot
So
of people
Tales of
have
the Sith.
wondered if that means Tales of the Jedi, because she started out as a Jedi, remembered from
Oh,
Dooku,
yeah. Oh,
the
she did.
Dooku
Yeah.
novel. She started out as
Hmm.
a Jedi and then she turned to the dark side. So that would be really cool. Um, let's see. It would be surprise. it would be a surprise that he wants to return to Star Wars. I think he really does want to come. Everyone on Star Wars loses a limb. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Travis says, given how Ahsoka and Boba, the two people who hated Mace the most, are alive, him being captive by the Empire, Mando recruiting them to save him would be compelling, adding to the characters. Yeah, I like how your mind thinks, Travis. That would be cool. That'd be bringing a lot of characters together. Let's see. Someone I talked to mentioned the idea Jar Jar rescued Mace and he lived in exile in the underwater city, which I wouldn't hate. Interesting.
I'm just imagining what Jar Jar was thinking or saying or doing during this whole time. Misa messed up.
Yeah, he's basically the whole reason why the galaxy is in the state that it is. That's funny. So the mystery clone in the Bad Batch is Mace. Yeah, there's like a mystery clone in the trailer, I think.
It's Tech.
That's what a lot of people have been saying, actually. This Tech is alive. And I'm like, that wouldn't surprise me at this point.
No, it wouldn't.
Okay, so here's his outline for episode 10 through 12. It begins with the Last Jedi kids hearing a force call, having to stop acolytes from attacking Feed. Elderly Jar Jar coming to their aid. The Queen, you apparently like Jar Jar. That's great. The Queen giving the main kid Qui-Gon's lightsaber. The Prum kid hearing the call of Qui-Gon. The Queen giving them Jin's saber, revealing it's time for Binks to fulfill the life debt. Handing it to the Broom kid. Boom. That's the opening. That's funny.
I've always wondered what happened to the Broom kid, to be honest with you. So you're probably off on a better plan than they were.
Yeah, that's funny. Tony says, that's a great name for this channel, guys who are casual Star Wars fans. There you go. Journeyman's been wanting to start a channel, so maybe that could be his channel. Guys who are casual Star Wars fans. There you go. Our motto is we get some of it correct, but we mostly guess.
Amen. Amen to that.
We get some of it correct. That's true. We get some of it correct. Remember when we all thought, Tony, were you there for Ahsoka when we all thought that Shin Hati was going to die? Because, well, yeah, you were there because you were the one who sent the image in the Discord.
Yeah.
Didn't get that one right. Travis says Jar Jar did put Mace's saber in his mouth once. I don't remember this. Is this in the movies?
Or is it a fan fiction?
Tony says, oh yeah, I found that picture. Boy, was I wrong. I mean, we win some, we lose some. It was a good theory, though. It was a good theory.
Yeah.
I think you got pretty famous off of that, actually. Like I remember, I want to say it was Josh and Theory when they were still doing Nerd Theory when it brought that up, and Tony was the one.
Yeah.
Is that true, Tony? Yeah, well, he said I did. He got some street cred from that one because he found that image and he got the image and then it was circulating online. So
I'm sad that they did.
He got a shout out
Theory, though.
Yeah, I don't watch Star Wars Theory anymore. I don't really watch Josh either.
I know.
Yeah, he got a shout out. That's so funny. I forgot you were the one who started that whole thing. So kudos to you. Travis says, take it with a grain of salt because I'm just a dude. But there was a rumor. Skeleton Crew was initially planned to be about the Canto Bite kids, but delays in reception made them rework the show. I believe that. And in fact, I think that would be kind of cool.
I know that.
I don't know how you feel about that.
I know Josh, when I last heard about him talking about Skeleton Crew is
Mhm.
he said Skeleton Crew wasn't necessarily going well, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of why they have pushed everything.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
think that
remember the reason why, but they just it wasn't up to standard or par for what they wanted for that show.
yeah, I think they've been having a lot of issues with the production, is what I've heard. Um, Tony says, "Me too. I think the Skeleton Crew is delayed due to rewrite of the storyline." Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think the long-standing rumor of the show is that it has been about kids,
Hmm.
which is what Travis was saying. I think that that is still true. It's about kids. One time, it was my understanding that it was kids who are lost in the new galaxy, Cetos. Because
Yeah.
well, at the time they were saying the kids were lost in the new beyond, which has turned into Cetos, the new galaxy. Um,
Hmm.
so that would be really cool. I feel like because I think we need to, you know, we need to explore more of that galaxy,
We do.
and I
Well, and
think
I
it
feel
would
like
be.
it's a good way if you're going to start taking um if we're kind of ending George's stuff,
Mhm.
saying, hey, we're gonna not necessarily remove ourselves, but at least starting to explore a whole new thing of saying, here's the new framework for why we're doing everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it would be really cool, and that's been the long-standing rumor. Um, Tony said it didn't fit Dave's storyline. Yeah, so I wonder what's kind of going on there. Um, Travis says these rumored delays are going back years, not recent. Yeah, I think they have kicked the can
Yeah.
down the road a little bit. Um, Travis says in the Clone Wars two-parter, The Disappeared, Jar Jar and Mace team up to rescue a Gungan queen from the Night Sisters. So they definitely have a bond. Okay, so it's in the Clone Wars. Gotcha. That must be when he eats the lightsaber. Apparently, I need to go back and rewatch it.
Hmm.
Travis says, I speculate the Skeleton Crew kids run into Shin Hati, who terrorizes them and tries to steal Jude Law's ship before reluctantly helping them and joining the crew, like Nebula. That would be fun. Yeah, isn't the rumor that Shin Hati is going to turn into Abeloth? Dun dun dun.
I still like that rumor. I want that to be true.
Yeah, I think it would be cool though, as like kind of like a side plot before she turns into Abeloth. I see what Travis is saying.
Yes.
She
No.
was a very compelling character. I thought.
Hmm.
I thought that actress did a really good job playing Shin Hati. Um, but it would be kind of cool, like to see her, have a little have do this, and then before maybe possibly becoming Abeloth.
On a serious note, for Ahsoka, though, do you think they should continue with Balin's story, or do you think we're just leaving it?
I think they continue it. I don't think that there is
Because I think
a.
it's weird that they just leave it where it
Mhm.
is.
I don't I don't think there's a path forward in which you don't have his story continue.
Yeah,
I really don't. And I know Tony even said it too when we were talking about Ahsoka season 2 earlier. Like they have to find a new Balin.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think Tony agrees have to with Balin. I don't think that there's a path forward for Ahsoka season 2
Without him
without
being in it.
without Balin being at least partially involved. Yeah, such
Yeah,
a good
which is
character.
which is sad. I loved Ray. Or right,
Yeah,
it's Ray.
great. Yeah, he was so good.
He
That
was.
was one thing I love. You know,
Uh,
I really liked his character. Yeah.
yeah.
Travis said a Sith apprentice being annoyed by children is just amusing to me. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Travis says I see Balin possessed by and transforming into the sun, bringing Sam Witwer into live action. Balin fighting him internally. That would be very cool.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like that's been a long-standing rumor, not just but the sun somehow being a part of it.
Yeah. Well, I see. Now we're
And
getting into the stuff I could talk about all night.
yeah,
I don't. I get what you're saying, Travis. But I think we're done with the Mortis gods. Like in the sense
unfortunately, yeah,
of seeing them actual beings.
as actual
Obviously,
characters,
the
yeah.
daughter's essence has been passed along to Ahsoka, but Ahsoka is Ahsoka, not the daughter. Um, in my opinion, and like the father, like it's like their legacy has been passed on. So like the father is
Yep.
now Anakin, but Anakin is not the father. If that makes sense.
Every as they say in Star Wars, um, everything everything is
It's like
what's the
poetry.
word? Yeah, poetry, and also like their souls pass on. It flows with
Hmm.
the Force.
Yeah.
So they're not there. Kind of like when Kanan died, when Ezra was being talked about with Ahsoka. Like their their history, their legacy passes on to whoever. It's still within the Force, but that does
Hmm.
not mean that they're there as a character.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, I suppose in the sense that we're talking about here, maybe Balin represents the sun. I just don't see them
Hmm.
bringing back the sun and Sam Witwer for that matter. But I like where your head is at with that. Perhaps Balin fighting him internally will be true in the sense that he's fighting the same thing that the sun represented, but not the sun himself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a good theory. It's a good video idea, though. I'll write that one down.
Hmm. I also think it would be cool if Balin just screams something and we do hear Sam Witwer's voice through that. Like I kind of understand what he's saying is like fighting him internally, kind of like how I guess a good comparison here is the Green Goblin. You know,
Hmm.
like having that two personality things.
Hmm.
You could have it be that way,
Hmm. Yeah.
which would kind of be cool. But to
Yeah.
your point, I don't think we're
Yeah.
actually getting them.
Well, and I'm just reading Tony's comment here. Sam Witwer and Sam Jackson too that want to be in Star Wars again. One thing I don't see Sam Witwer coming back as an actual coming into Star Wars as an actual actor, especially someone who plays the Sun. But in the same way that the Sith holocron is I believe it's the voice actress who voices Asajj Ventress, um, the Sith holocron from Rebels.
Hmm.
Um, I could see like going back to what you're saying, Travis, Balin having to deal with this dark side entity and like Sam Witwer voicing that dark side entity and it not be directly referred to as the sun, but it represents the dark side. That personification element of the dark side could be Sam Witwer's voice. I think that would be really cool.
Hmm.
Travis says both the father and daughter allow themselves to become legacy. Sith focus on prolonging material existence. So I see that being why the sun clings to life. That's a good point. That's a good argument.
Both the father and daughter allow themselves to become legacy. Sith focus on prolonging maternal material existence. So I see that more the sun. Yeah.
That's a good point too. Like I said, maybe have to make a video about that because I see what you're saying. Is like the Sith, Palpatine was consumed on not passing along what he knows. He was consumed with making sure that he himself continues on mat- in that material existence, which is the whole reason. Like that's why we've been having this conversation about the Bad Batch. It's like
Yeah.
that's his plan. Um, so that makes sense. And so you're saying that because the Sith, even though the sun is not Sith, He's dark side, and it represents that selfish nature of ourselves. His material existence would carry forth. But so what would be your argument though for the dagger of Mortis then, Travis? And Tony, I'd like your opinion on that as well, because wait, no, he doesn't die by the dagger of Mortis. Anakin stabs him. Yeah, that's right. So is the son even really dead?
Well, he dies.
Anakin stabbed the son.
No, but
He does not, but
remember,
not with the dagger of Mortis.
right? But what I remember from that arc is he says, if you stab me, he doesn't get my power or whatever that it like he doesn't get to live on. Like
Oh,
his
you're saying the father.
yeah,
Father, because yeah, the father is stabbed, and because the
because
father
he's a
is stabbed, he
combination of
loses
both.
that
Yeah.
power. Okay, yeah.
At least from what I remember is so he does like he sort of dies along with him. I think. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think you are right. He says, if Anakin leaves Mortis, the son will return. If he stays, he'll be gone. Is that actually said, Travis, or is that just your input in theory? Tony says that has a religious aspect too. It does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really, I think that would be a really cool video to make. I'll put that on the list. Travis is actually the son trying to bring back his mother and sister, unable to accept they're gone. Could be interesting. Yeah, but is the son still alive? And
Yeah,
why is the son still
I
alive?
gotta look it up. It says here on Wikipedia, just me looking up the question, is the son still alive in Star Wars? And it says the son dies along his father when. Oh, never mind. Let me find it. Wikipedia. It's like Wikipedia, but. Hmm. Hmm. Wars Mortis arc.
Tony says some argue that the son was not killed, as you can't be killed by a lightsaber. And then Travis says the son died with his father, but Anakin didn't start to maintain balance
The son lost his power
or
and then his
stay to
life
maintain.
after the father killed himself, so he could stop his child from bringing darkness to the whole galaxy. As the son screamed out in pain, Anakin stabbed him with a lightsaber, killing the last Mortis god. But he didn't die.
Well, it says he killed him, but so Tony's saying some argue that you can't be killed by the lightsaber. I assume you're saying a Mortis god can't be killed by a lightsaber. And then Travis
Yeah,
is saying the
because
son died with his father, but Anakin didn't stay to maintain the balance.
mm,
And then he says Anakin's lightsaber was extinguished by the father's
yeah,
hand. Thus, a lightsaber has no effect on them. Yeah, so perhaps the son is still alive.
I'll have to go back and watch that arc. I need to go. I like that arc. I want to go watch it again. So
Do you think
which is why there's still balance. If you think about it, if the sun is still alive, that means that there's darkness in the world, and the only reason that there's still light in the world is this, like is the embodiment of the daughter, which is Ahsoka. If we're gonna go that route,
yeah, and I'm just like I'm
But then
wondering
again,
how.
you still have Anakin, who's the embodiment of both. So, does it really matter that the son or the
Well,
daughter
Anakin is
are?
Anakin is the embodiment of the cosmic force.
Yes, it's not the son. It's not, or it's not of the father.
So this is where the religious aspect comes in, and I like it so much. To me, what's going on with the Mortis gods and Anakin is the force is the providence of God. This is why I want to make a video about it. But the force is the
Hmm.
providence. The cosmic force is God, right? In a sense, that oversees everything, that knows everything before it happens. The cosmic force. It plays
Hmm.
events out. The cosmic force is a part of the conception of Anakin, as we know, with Shmi Skywalker. Anakin becomes a
Hmm.
mortal being, but is born of the cosmic force by the force,
Hmm.
dies, and then becomes part of the cosmic force. And just as Jesus did, now rules over everything as Anakin. He is not the father in the sense of the Mortis God, but he is the father in the sense that he oversees the balance because he is the cosmic force. He is the force.
Yeah.
And so, and then it just gets confusing there because then you're like, well, if Anakin's the father, then Ahsoka's the daughter, but who's the son? And I'm like, I don't think it works like that. Like, yes, Ahsoka it has the essence of the daughter in her, and she does
Yeah.
represent everything that's pure about the Force and what the Jedi should have been. But I think that dark
Basic.
side nature is not in anyone in particular, other than it's still out there, and it's the dark side. As long as there's good, there has to be evil. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. I don't know.
No.
Travis says, I don't actually think the sun will come back in this show. It'll just be cool. And then Tony says, that was the meaning of the end of that arc. When the daughter died, all the plants started to die. Meaning that was the start of the imbalance of the dark side. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. And then imbalance ended when Anakin kills old Palp. But then Palpatine comes back.
So.
And then Travis says, if there's evidence of how the sun being around, it's when Anakin's ghost goes from dark back to light when fighting Ahsoka. There's a clear shot of struggle, like he's pushing it back down.
Yeah, but that's also to teach the Ahsoka a lesson there.
Yeah, I would agree with Journeyman on that one, Travis. I think that was mainly to teach Ahsoka the lesson of you're
Because
not. I have a video about it
because he
too.
yeah, because he is the cosmic force. He can do. He is able to control it now better, and
Mhm.
so it doesn't matter necessarily what he did. It's the fact that he can control it, and he's teaching his Padawan a lesson.
Yeah,
And it's like
teaching
this
her the
is what
lesson
is
of just because if you embrace the warrior in you, it doesn't mean that you're going to turn out just like me.
yeah.
Was what I got from that. But Tony says getting into some heavy stuff for another show, which he's probably right.
Hmm.
It is something that we would have to, I think, dig into a little bit because it's a lot. It's a lot. So, but I like that. I like the idea of video of is the sun still around?
Hmm.
So maybe we can talk about that a little bit more, and then I can make a video of it. So
Yeah.
Tony says I want to sleep and think about this. Yeah, we've been going almost
Yeah.
2 hours, so I think we can go
Yeah.
ahead and wrap it up. I really appreciate you all for being here, Travis and Tony. It's been a blast talking to you all. The plan is for now, so just moving forward. I know Senator Tony has become a member again. Travis, Tony posted some free memberships out there. It's that's for you to grab if you want to. Tony, really appreciate it. Truly
Hmm.
appreciate the support that you bring to the channel. I love it so much. But all that said, I'm back Journeyman's back. We want to keep having these fun conversations. So the tentative plan is to, for at least while Bad Batch is out, to go ahead and just do streams on Thursdays. So we'll do a stream probably 8 to 9 o'clock Central Time on Thursdays, where we'll come and we can talk about and react to the most recent Bad Batch episode. The thing is one thing that Journeyman and I are pretty dead set on is we don't want to make this so concrete and scheduled to where we overwhelm ourselves. So the goal and hope is that we will just stream once a week, whether that's on Thursday, whether that's on Friday, whatever. So just be on the lookout for the streams. And we're going to do these at least once a week, and then maybe we'll have a bonus stream in there every once in a while. Tony, since you're a member, maybe I'll throw in a members only stream or something in there too, just for you, so we can chat and we can talk about that in the Discord. So yeah, we'll give you, he said, just give us a 24 to 48 hour notice. I'm pretty sure we would be able to do that. So, just so I can hide. I know he has like a client that he works with, so he has to probably hide from his client. But yeah, the plan is to do these once a week. I'm really excited. LEB, you're just a little bit too late because we're about to end the stream here. But we'll pick this back up hopefully on Thursday. We'll talk about the first 3 episodes of the Bad Batch. And then, like I said, too, I'm also going to be back posting videos. So be on the lookout in the next couple of days for a video, probably about the Bad Batch. And then from there, who knows what videos I'll post. But I'm really excited to be talking about the content. So LEB, you missed a really great stream. We've been just talking about everything under the sun when it comes to Star Wars. So join us back this week and we will catch back up. Anything else, Journeyman?
No, I think we're good here. Thanks. Thank you all for listening and watching.
All right. Just for old time's sake, I have to play this.
I love democracy. I love the Republic.
I just have to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I believe that this meeting is adjourned.
I second the motion.
Thank you so much, Senators. We'll chat soon. Have a good night.